Kaumaram yauvanam jara.
jara.
Tata dehantara praptir.
Tata
Tata
dehantara
praptir.
praptir.
Dhirah tatra na muhyati.
Dhira
Tatra
tatrana
na
muhyati.
muhyati. Hey, Naresh.
Dehinosmin yada dehe.
Dehinosmin
Dehinosmin
yata
yata
dehe.
dehe.
Kaumaram yavanam jara.
Kaumaram yauvanam jara.
Jara.
Tada dehantara praptir.
Tata
Tata
dehantara
dehantara
praptir.
praptir.
Dhirastatrana muhyate.
Dhira tatrana
Tatrana
muhyate.
muhyate. Okay. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Okay. Purport. So, anybody would like to read purport? Vinanath, you want to read purport?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu.
Yeah. You both can share a few paragraphs.
Since every living entity is an individual soul, each is changing his body every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, and sometimes as an old man. Yet the same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. This individual soul finally changes the body at death and transmigrates to another body. And since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there was no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on account of death, neither for Bhishma nor for Drona, for whom he was so much concerned. Rather, he should rejoice for their changing bodies from old to new ones, thereby rejuvenating their energy. Such changes of body account for varieties of enjoyment or suffering according to one's work in life. So Bhishma and Drona, being noble souls, were surely going to have spiritual bodies in the next life, or at least life in heavenly bodies for superior enjoyment of material existence. So, in either case, there was no cause for lamentation. Any man who has perfect knowledge of the constitution of the individual soul, the super soul, and nature, both material and spiritual, is called a dhira, or a most sober man. Such a man is never deluded by the change of bodies. The Mayavadi theory of oneness of the spirit soul cannot be entertained on the ground that the spirit soul cannot be cut into pieces as fragmental portion. Such cutting into different individual souls would make the supreme cleavable or changeable against the principle of the supreme souls being unchangeable. As confirmed in the Gita, the fragmental portions of the Supreme exist eternally, Sanatana, and are called Shara. That is, they have a tendency to fall down into material nature. These fragmental portions are eternally so, and even after liberation, the individual soul remains the same, fragmental. But once liberated, he lives an eternal life in bliss and knowledge with the personality of Godhead. The theory of reflection can be applied to super soul, who is present in each and every individual body and is known as the Paramatma. He is different from the individual living entity. When the sky is reflected in water, the reflections represent both the sun and the moon and the stars also. The stars can be compared to the living entities, and the sun or moon to the Supreme Lord. The individual fragmental spirit soul is represented by Arjuna, and the Supreme Soul is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. They are not on the same level, as it will be apparent in the beginning of the 4th chapter. If Arjuna is on the same level with Krishna, and Krishna is not superior to Arjuna, then their relationship of instructor and instructed becomes meaningless. If both of them are deluded by the illusory energy, Maya, then there is no need of one being the instructor and the other the instructed. Such instruction would be useless because in the clutches of Maya, no one can be an authoritative instructor. Under the circumstances, it is admitted that Lord Krishna is a supreme Lord, superior in position to the living entity Arjuna, who is a forgetful soul deluded by Maya.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Vinana. Yeah. So in this shloka, Krishna is establishing about reincarnation or life after death. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. So he's basically telling that there is life after death. So if somebody is saying, if some bogus Christian, follower is saying that there's no life after death, it's only one life, you enjoy it to the full extent, eat, sleep, and be merry, just enjoy this one life, you don't have anything else after this. If somebody is saying that, that is completely false. Because the original, the pure Christianity philosophy does not teach that there is no life after death. It is the contaminated or the concocted version of Christian philosophy. They teach that there is no life after death. So here Lord Krishna is clearly saying there is life after death, reincarnation or life after death. Just like how this body goes through changes from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly, the soul changes from one body to another body at the time of death. Soul transmigrates from one body to another body at the time of death. That's why a sober person, that means a learned person or a dhira, should not be bewildered by such a change. Seeing that one's material body is coming to an end and their life is going to be finished, so one should not lament seeing that a person's material life is coming to an end. Knowing that the soul is eternal and soul transmigrates from one body to another body at the time of death, so a learned person should not be bewildered by such a change. So in our body also, or our body undergoes changes constantly. And Aparna is in the medical field, so she knows it better. So the body undergoes changes constantly, every day, every minute, every second. So all of you who are attending the class now, you will not be the same person after this class, because your body is changing right now. The cells in the body change constantly, all the time. And the scientists have confirmed that the cells in the body, all the cells in the body change completely after 7 years. Is that right, Aparna?
Yes, Prabhuji. Our body recycles every 7 years.
Every 7 years, yeah. And the same scientists, in the beginning, they said the cells in the mind, the cells in the brain do not change. But then later on, they corrected that, saying that, yes, even the cells in the brain also do change. So basically, after 7 years, you have got a completely new body. Now, does anyone of us remember the body that we had at the time of birth? No. Do we remember the body that we, that we went to kindergarten or first grade? No. And we don't remember the body in which we went to high school. We don't remember the body in which we went to college. We only remember about this body, this present state of the body. But that consciousness is there. The consciousness does not change. The body changes, but the consciousness. I think my video is getting frozen, right? Okay. Maybe my body is undergoing changes. 1 second. I'm using this external camera, the phone camera.
No, it's fine, bro.
Yeah, sometimes there is a lag and sometimes it's fine. Okay. Yeah, whenever there is a lag, you just think that the cells in my body are changing. Okay. So the body constantly undergoes changes and we don't remember the body from previous times. At the same time, we cannot deny the fact that we had a different body at some point in the time in the past. So while the body is constantly changing, what is permanent is the consciousness. So we remember what we had done during college days. We remember what we had done, all the naughty things that we had done during college days and school days. And we remember what we had done during early childhood days, at least some glimpses of it. You may not remember all the nitty-gritties of it, but at least some details, you will remember. So the consciousness is there. Consciousness is not changing. Only the body is changing. And similarly, when the soul is transmigrating from one body to another body at the time of death, we should not be bewildered. Because we are not bewildered when the body is undergoing changes in this life. Similarly, when the soul transmigrates from one body to another body at the time of death, we should not be bewildered. In fact, it's a time for celebration, actually. That's why in Telugu, there is a saying, Chavu kuda pelli lantide. Chavu kuda pelli lantide. That means death is also like a marriage. Just like how they celebrate marriage, one should celebrate their death also. I mean, they cannot celebrate their own death, but somebody else will celebrate. And in fact, they do celebrate, right? They perform samskara, different rituals and samskaras for 13 days, wherein all relatives come and they bring different types of snacks. Different families bring different types of snacks. I heard, some castes like Reddys and Chaudharys and the meat-eating caste people. When there is a death in the family, let's say someone in the relative's family has passed away, they must take some type of meat when they go and see the family members. When they go to their family to pay condolences, they must take some type of meat. That's their ritual. Otherwise, the soul will not be happy. So it's a celebration, a lot of relatives gather and then they perform different samskaras, ceremonies. It's a celebration because the body, which is very old and diseased, can't do anything, can't walk, can't talk properly, can't hear properly, can't think properly. what's the use of having such a body? So one should be very happy to accept a new body. I mean, saying that is very easy, right? Saying that is very easy.
Prabhuji, it does not hurt from going from childhood to, young child, or to young, adulthood to old age. It doesn't hurt. But when you're changing bodies, the scorpion pain will come. That's the only difference. Maybe they don't know that.
Very good, very good. You finally came back to, you still remember that scorpion thing very strongly. It has made a
That
strong
is a very important point, Prabhuji. Can't forget it.
impression. Yeah, that's a very good question. Just like how we don't get hurt when the body undergoes changes, similarly, a sober person will not be hurt when the soul transmigrates from one body to another body. For an ordinary person, yes, it hurts. But for a sober person, for a learned person who knows the knowledge of the soul, who knows that the soul is eternal, whereas the material body is temporary, they will not be bewildered. Yeah. So that tolerance, it comes with spiritual progress. Tolerance of the scorpion bites, it comes with spiritual progress. Yeah, in the beginning, right now, if I die, obviously I'll be hurt and I'll feel the pain of, hopefully I'll not feel the pain of scorpions, but I may feel some pinch of, the pain. But gradually, as we progress sincerely on this path of Krishna consciousness, we will not feel that pain. It will not hurt us. Yeah. So now, so here in this shloka, Krishna is saying, Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatrana muhyati. Just like how the body undergoes changes, soul similarly passes from one body to another body at the time of death. But how do we even prove the existence of the soul, first of all? So earlier, who asked? Rahul asked, right? That can we feel the super soul?
Venugopal Prabhu.
Venugopal asked, right? Yeah. How do we feel? Can we feel super soul? So before asking that question, can we feel the soul? Or can we prove that? How do you prove the existence of the soul? Feeling is one part, that is self-realization. That's a practical thing. Only you yourself can realize about your spirit soul, about your true nature. So I'm not asking about the practical aspect of it, but at least proving the existence of the soul, because scientists do not believe in the existence of the soul. They do not even believe in the existence of mind, because anything that cannot be measured or proven scientifically, they don't believe in that. So they don't believe in mind, they don't believe in soul. So how do we prove the existence of soul?
We can compare a dead body with a living person and say that the living person has a soul and the dead body doesn't.
Okay.
But I don't know if that.
Yeah, that's one good point. So logically, so I'm trying to get some points how we can prove the existence of soul logically. Practically, that only you can feel or you can have the self-realization of your true nature. But logically, how can we prove the existence of the soul?
Another point I can think of is Prabhuji, like I said earlier, the inner person talking to us,
Yeah.
always putting us to the truth, like showing us the truth, or leading us towards the truth.
Yeah. But that is super soul. Yeah, that is super soul. So any other points? How one can prove the existence of soul logically?
Prabhuji, we are the same person from childhood to death time, even though our body changes, who you are as a person constitutionally doesn't change. So that itself shows that something is constant, and I think that's the soul. So is something you could argue.
Okay, that's also a good point. Okay, so we got 2 points so far. Anything else?
I can try. Sometimes we hear that, people remember about things that they have not gone through. So it may be from past lives.
Very good.
And okay.
Yeah, past life memories. Yeah, very good.
And that can attribute to some power, which is the previous. It is the previous life of that soul.
Yeah, yeah. Previous life, past life memories, and there is one more thing related to past life memories. Not exactly past life memories, but something
Near-death experience.
Near-death experiences. Yeah, near-death experiences or out-of-body experiences, where there were many cases where people were on the surgery table, and then the doctors, when they were doing surgery, the surgery failed, and then they concluded that the person has died. All those vital meters, what do you call those? I don't know. The meters that they show the vitals of the person, everything went blank. No indication of vitals. So the doctors confirmed that this person has passed away. And then suddenly that person comes back alive. So he has seen the death and came back alive. He has seen the scorpion bite and came back alive. That's even more dangerous, right, Aparna?
We don't want that.
That's even more dangerous.
That's even more dangerous. But Prabhuji, I've read a lot of documentaries and books given by doctors and other authors talking about past life, near-death experiences, and they all give a very similar kind of, we're going into this white light effulgence, and I've never seen anyone describe anything like Yamaduta or Krishna or anything God. Like they all talk about going to this beautiful place.
Yeah. So they have not actually.
Or sister or something. All talk about the same thing. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So they have not experienced death. It is near death. They were about to die and then they came back alive. So there is no scorpion bite, no Yamadutas, no Vishnudutas, nothing of that thing happened. If Vishnudutas and Yamadutas have come, that means that person has really left the body. So whereas this person, he has gone near the death and came back alive. And they don't know what exactly they have seen. It's very vague explanation. Yeah, it's very vague explanation. So it's not complete death, but near death. So the actual process of death has not started yet. So yeah, so past life memories, near death experiences, and the 2 examples given by Rahul and Aparna, and what else?
Consciousness, Prabhuji.
Consciousness. Yeah, very good. Yeah. So we can confirm the existence of a particular thing based on its symptoms. Okay. For example, the fire in the wood. Fire in the wood. If someone says there is fire in the wood the first time, you may not believe it. But when you burn that wood with a matchstick, then you will start seeing fire coming out of the wood. Or ghee in milk. Somebody says this thin liquid form of milk contains ghee. You may not believe that. But if you go through the process of making ghee, then the same milk will give you ghee. So these subtle things, you can confirm the existence of these subtle things based on the symptoms. And the symptom of soul is consciousness. Symptom of soul is consciousness. Okay. Any other points? We discussed this during DYS time. Yeah. There's one more point, intuition. Intuition or common sense, right? So we say, when we refer to our bodily parts, we say my hand, my leg, my head, my eyes, like that. We don't say I head, I leg, I ear, like that. And when you have to refer to the body, we don't say I body. We say my body. So who is that my? Or who is that I? It is the soul. It's already 7:16. So anyone else? Any points? Any questions?
Prabhuji, regarding the scorpion bites, right?
Yeah.
Like when we are in our in the mother's womb,
Yeah.
we will go through some difficulty and pain. But I don't think our conscious mind goes through that pain, right? Like we don't remember that pain now.
Yeah. We don't remember that now.
So do you think I know we'll experience the pain during death, but do you think our conscious brain, conscious mind, like, does it remember it or does it experience the pain?
So you're asking, do we remember this in the next life?
No, I don't think we'll remember the pain, scorpion bites pain in the next life, but like like the conscious brain or who experiences that pain?
Okay. So first of all, let me ask a question to everyone. Do we remember the pain of death in the next life? No?
Whenever we take birth, the material nature covers our soul with all the pain we suffered from the previous births, Prabhuji. Like it's that Maya which covers all our previous, experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we might have taken millions of birth and have gone through the same pain, but we don't remember now. And even at the time of death, we may suffer the pain,
Mhm.
but as the cycle continues until we don't, if we take another birth, we will go through the same suffering in the womb, and when we die, we also encounter the 10,000 scorpion bites. But every time, the Maya, the illusion covers us, so such that we don't remember those pains.
But when we hear of death, we get scared, right? Why? Even though we have not seen death in this life, when we hear of death, we get scared. Why?
Mhm.
Why is that so?
Maybe because we know that, like, if someone dies, and like we know that people die, right? Like, but they are not coming back. So we know that
Yeah,
if someone
but
dies,
we have not experienced.
but still we have seen it, or uh,
No, you only see a person on the deathbed. You can't experience, or you can't see the soul leaving the body, or you can't feel the experience what that dead person is going through. So
Because we feel we will lose our family relations, and
yeah,
so everything whatever we are doing right now, so we feel that we will lose all of these things.
mhm. Yeah, that's one point. But all these things we may lose any time, not only at the time of death. We may have job today, may not have it tomorrow. We may have $1 million in the bank account, and if you happen to have those $1 million in Silicon Valley Bank, you may not have it anymore. And other family members, they may all die in accident. So all these things can happen. You may lose all these things even before death only. So the
Will-
fact that
I mean, if we lose all of those things before death, then we don't feel death as a difficult. I am.
you'll become a
uh,
renounced person, right? You'll become a renounced person after you'll become a sannyasi yogi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that we are so scared of death in this life is itself a proof that we remember the experience of death from previous lifetime. We don't remember the exact, the biting of scorpions and the severity of the pain, or the magnitude of the pain and all of the details, but some impression of that will be there. Because the soul carries, at the time of death, soul carries the subtle body from one life to the next life. The soul carries the subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Soul carries the subtle body. And in that subtle body, the samskaras from previous lifetime are carried forward to the next life. Samskaras means all the vasanas, the desires from previous lifetime, they're all carried forward to the next life. Similarly, an impression of the experiences from previous lifetime are carried forward to the next life. Don't remember everything, but some impressions of the previous life will be given to you. That's why in the very last life, let's say Ashok becomes a 100% pure devotee in this lifetime. Now, after this life, when Ashok goes to spiritual world, he will have some impressions of how painful the material world is, how miserable the material world is. That's why he will not come back to the material world again. Similarly, we remember death, the experience of death from previous lifetime, but in a smaller scale. An impression of that pain will be, will be staying with us. That's why even little children or at an early age also, and young people, they are scared of death, even though they don't have an experience or they don't have the maturity to understand what death is. An young boy going to high school, probably they never heard of the fact that at the time of death 10,000 14,000 scorpions bite. They may never have that knowledge, but still they have fear of death. It's coming from previous lifetime.
But Prabhuji, also there is an anticipation of the unknown, right? All the other things we can somehow explain, or there's some sort of evidence people can bring back. But death is something everyone knows it will happen, but there's no solid, I guess, scientific proof, or there's not like something everyone can tell for sure this is going to happen. So I think also the fear of or the anticipation is also possibly another adding factor to that. But now if you read the book and at least you can anticipate something, so you're not as scared. So I feel like that is also possible.
The fear of unknown, for example, in the case of a young child, the fear of unknown is not a valid thing for them. Fear of unknown is valid only when you have some kind of maturity and intelligence to understand things. But a young child does not have that maturity to know what it actually means, the fear of unknown. They don't have all these things. They don't have a concept of all these things. Still, they are fearful of death. That's a proof that they have some impressions of death from past life. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Okay. If nothing else, by the way, before we conclude the call, so next Sunday, I'll not be able to take the class on Sunday evening, because my daughter has a dance performance, Kuchipudi dance performance, Sunday evening. Can we do it Saturday evening? Okay, Swati said yes. Rahul.
Yes.
I am okay, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Aparna.
Hey, Prabhuji, what's coming?
Yeah, everyone said. Kiran, when are you leaving for India?
This Wednesday.
This Wednesday. Okay. So you'll not be able to attend anyway. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So next week we'll have class on Saturday evening then. Yeah.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.